Our next guest proves that it's possible to bounce back from a setback. Entrepreneur and author A. Rod Womack started his business at the tender young age of 18 years old. A few years later, he purchased a struggling restaurant in Baltimore City, and within 1 year, the business was the picture of success. But it did not last long. An unbelievable set of circumstances sent him on a roller coaster ride to hell and back. He details it all in his new book, Redwood. Now let's talk to him. Let's welcome A. Rod Womack. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well.
Awesome. Okay, Redwood. It's based on a true story of you opening up a business at 18 years old and then things breaking.
Yeah. So what happens is the 18-year-old part, that's another business. That's when I first started my first business.
Okay.
Sold that at 23. This is later on.
Okay. And what was that business at 18 that you opened?
It was a landscaping company. I started, in college, and it did very well. So by 23, we sold it and we moved on. I finished school.
Okay. So by 23, you had a foundation of what it takes.
Of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, what it takes to open a business. You kind of had accounts receivables and all of that kind of stuff, which was a great way for you to prime yourself to go into the restaurant business.
It was.
Okay, so you open up the very successful Redwood Grill in Baltimore, and things are going well, and in 1 year, you have a very successful restaurant, which is a short amount of time.
Yeah. So what happens is I had partners. I had two partners, and we did very well with it. We bought the restaurant from a guy, and it was struggling at the time. You know, so the restaurant was struggling. We knew it, but we saw potential.
Okay.
At that time, believe it or not, as sad as a commentary as this is, we were the only black-owned restaurant downtown in Baltimore in a primarily African-American city.
Wow.
Now 3 months later, you know, another restaurant moved across the street, Larry Stewart's, and so we had some friendly competition. But for a while, we were the only ones. But anyway, the restaurant just grew quickly. We got a lot of support in the community, and it just one thing led to another. At one point, within about a year, people were waiting about an hour in line to eat sometimes at our restaurant. It was amazing how fast it grew.
Right?
Yeah, it's good and bad, right? There's up and down to that.
Right. So after a year, things are going well, and then what was the first sign that there was trouble brewing?
Well, there's a lot that happened in between that that time and the time that we really saw that trouble was brewing. There's a lot of circumstances. One is that competition. The Inner Harbor was just developing downtown Baltimore, so we saw some of our customer base, you know, flood out of our restaurant, and the restaurant changed. But then something even crazier and weirder and stranger happened. That's true. And that is, we discovered, because one day some agents walked into our restaurant. We discovered that a guy who was working
federal agents.
Federal agents.
Okay,
Yes, I'm sorry. Federal agents walked
law
in.
Enforcement,
exactly.
Federal
yes,
agents.
like FBI.
Yeah.
And they were looking for a guy who was our head cook at the time. Well, at least a few months prior to that, because he had left, and we didn't know why he left. He just left.
So your head cook leaves.
Yes.
He's been the one that's been there when it was hour-long wait.
Yes.
Okay. And then he leaves, and all of a sudden, federal agents show up, and what do they say?
They're looking for him, and they wouldn't go into too much detail.
Okay.
It wasn't until later we discovered that the reason they were looking for him is because he had been accused of killing like multiple women. And
so you're saying that your head cook was a serial killer?
Yes, I'm saying that he was.
So as he was tossing up the wings in the day, he was a serial killer when he was not at your restaurant?
Yes.
And you, at no point in this time that he was with you, did you notice anything strange?
Well, strange is different. Strange is different from being a serial killer. I mean, there are lots of strange people walking around the streets who aren't serial killers, right? So yes, did he have some quirks? Yes, he had, you know, anger management issues, I guess. So things like that, you know. And
you thought it was all like the book
I talk
thing.
about that exactly in the book, but who knew that was gonna? And then the story gets even crazier and weirder. I mean, there's so many twists and turns. I describe Redwood like an onion. You peel it, and then there's another layer, underneath that, and then there's another layer under that.
Okay, so what happened? Did he get arrested? Did he go to prison?
He did get arrested. I'm not going to go into too much detail what happened after he got arrested, because I'm telling you right now, there is a stranger twist after he got arrested.
Okay.
And so I talk about that in the book, right? And so I would love to, you know, also, you know, just. Well, we'll talk more about that in a minute. Yeah.
Okay, so what are I mean, I know you decided to write the book because when you have experiences like that, whether they're positive or negative experience, they make for stories that people can absolutely learn from.
Absolutely.
So what do you want to say to entrepreneurs, young and old, that go into business about how that experience impacted the way you look at business?
Yes. Well, the first and foremost, I would say that for any aspiring entrepreneur or restaurateur, that Redwood is a must read. Get the book. You'll learn some lessons, and I think there'll be some great takeaways from it. One is, don't go into a business underfunded. We were a little underfunded. We scraped our money together at that time to get this restaurant. We really did, and we could have gone into the restaurant more funded. I think that, having a stronger business plan. We went into it with ideas, I think, that were very grandiose about the restaurant business is a difficult business.
One of the toughest businesses,
one of the stats,
right?
that's what they say.
In 3 years, if you don't make it, you're done.
That's it.
Right?
Not even that. Most of them don't even last a year.
Wow.
That's the stats on restaurant business.
Wow.
So I say be prepared and be well funded when you go into the restaurant business. Those are two of the biggest takeaways that I would say that you'll get from this book. Another thing is, and this is even more important, don't be afraid to fail. And in the end, the readers will have one or two takeaways. They'll either see this situation, because I'm telling you now, this is a journey. This book will take you into a journey of especially what happens in the end, because there's a part that we talk about a con man who got involved at the end and tried to take the business. But my point is that some readers will take away that we succeeded overwhelmingly. We had people like Will Smith, Gene Hackman, we had Tyra Banks, a lot of celebrities coming and doing events at our restaurant.
Right.
But other people will say, okay, so they failed. But it's okay, because either way, whatever your takeaway is from the book, it's okay. It's your perspective of it and your perception of it.
Well, you say make sure that you're funded, and make sure that you have a long-term plan and you know where you're getting into. And I'm going to say make sure that you know your employees.
Make
right?
sure you know your employees.
You don't want to get caught having a serial killer as your main cook. So definitely you want to get a hold of Redwood, which is based on a true story, and definitely A. Rod Womack. Check out his book. Thank you so much.
I want to definitely mention the website, www.redwoodthebook.com.
Redwoodthebook.com.
It's in Barnes & Nobles. It's on Amazon, Kindle, and the audio version comes out this week.
Absolutely. Sounds like a good movie to me. Thank you so much.
It is going to be.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Trump's birthday shout-out time. Rapper Drake turns 28 years old. He's one of my favorites. Singer Monica turns 34. Politician and former NAACP president Kwesi Mfume turns 66. And tomorrow, singer Sierra turns 29 years old, and she just became a mommy. She's so cute. And actor Craig Robinson, known for his role on The Office, turns 43. On this day in history, in 1964, the southern African nation of Zambia gains independence from Britain. In 1981, the National Coalition of 100 Black Women is launched. And in 2002, police arrest D.C. Beltway snipers John Allen Muhammad and Lee Boyd Malvo. Black Enterprise and TV One have teamed up for the new weekly series. I'm excited about this. Women of Power. Host Carolyn Clark will bring you exclusive and personal interviews with celebrities, CEOs, moguls, and more. All Black, all women, and I'm telling you, all putting it down. Caroline joins us via Skype in New York City. Caroline, welcome.
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
Good, good.
So,
thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. You look beautiful this morning. Tell us about the first episode.
You know, we're so excited about this show. It's been a long time in coming, and we come out of the gate really strong this weekend with Tracee Ellis Ross, star of Blackish, which we love.
We love.
And I have such a girl crush, and I'm not really prone to girl crushes, but she was fantastic. She's really a terrific person. We know she's a great actress. And she talks so much about how much thought she puts into her work, about this show and what it means, and about her life as a woman and what she's learned from her mother, Diana Ross, which was so fantastic to hear about. And we have so much other great stuff on the show. You know, every show we speak directly to women into the areas that they need the most input to empower themselves and make their lives better. That's what we're all about. So we have Shartia Brantley, who talks to women about personal finance, how to make the most of what you have and get more of what you need. And Dariana Santana, who does our Lux Life segment, where we talk about what you need to make life more beautiful. Take whatever you have and just make it lovelier so that you feel good while you're doing well out there.
That's awesome. We need that. I really am looking forward to hearing what Tracee has to say, because Blackish has taken off with such a bang. And, you know, it's so nice to go behind the scenes with the actress, and especially somebody so well-spoken and educated as she is. I really can't wait for that interview. But let me ask you, what is one surprising thing that you have learned so far while working on this series and talking to these dynamic women?
You know, I think one of the things that's really impressed me, which I think is what's going to resonate the most with women who watch the show, is that no matter what women are doing, and we interview women on this show in every industry, from entertainment to every facet of corporate America, women business owners, and we just have so much in common. You know, we are doing so much, we are doing so well generally, but we don't always feel so great. Terry Williams is on this first show talking about taking off the mask. You know, we're good at getting out there, making it all look good, hitting those deadlines, making it happen. But what are we really going through
like
on
what
the
do we
inside?
feel, right, and what do we feel behind the scenes? Depression, mental illness, all of that.
Absolutely. You know this. We all deal with a lot. We are caregivers all the time, no matter whether we have children or not. We have parents, we have aging relatives, we have people in the community who we're reaching out to. So, you know, we do often forget to take care of ourselves. We go there on this show, we talk about these things. But I think just talking to women about how they're really navigating through these spaces, they look so successful, but what does it really take?
Like what's happening in between the cracks, right? What's happening in between the cracks? Because I think a lot of time we're so obsessed with celebrity that we forget that they are regular people who go to funerals, who have bills to pay, who have children to educate, and it's so exciting to hear those kind of stories rather than just the entertainment paparazzi of it all.
Absolutely. We are all the same, you know, but we all have so much to bring and so much to give and so much to celebrate. So this does all of that too.
That's wonderful. What's the relationship between the show and the Women of Power Summit?
There's a direct connect there. This show grew out of the Women of Power Summit. The Women of Power Summit started 10 years ago. And at Black Enterprise, what we found when we started this event was that we tapped into a need that we knew was there, but we didn't know the depth and breadth of it. It's huge. Women really wanted to connect. Multicultural women across this country and across the world are often still really isolated in their industries, in their communities, in their companies. And this was a way, the summit was a way for them to come together. We'll have our 10th summit coming up March 2nd to 4th in Fort Lauderdale. Hope everyone will be there. It's going to be a fantastic event. But the show, the Women of Power show, is a way to bring all of the magic of the summit, and something really magical does happen there, to women in their homes every single week on TV1, and we're so excited to do this. It's going to be fantastic.
Awesome. I already can feel how fantastic it's going to be from your excitement. But tell me, what's one thing that you want viewers to take away from this show?
You know, it's called Women of Power for a reason. This show is about empowering us. We're coming out of colleges and graduate schools at a higher clip. We're starting businesses at a higher clip. A large percentage of us are primary breadwinners in our homes. We know we are empowered. We know we have these gifts and skills that we're bringing to them, but it's a whole different thing to really embrace what you have so that you can pull it out and make the most of it.
Yes.
And that's what this show is about. You know, there's not enough of that on TV. We get very disconnected from each other. Sheryl Sandberg made a big splash with the Lean In movement last year. You know, women of color, we lean in a lot.
Absolutely.
We lean in. We get accused of leaning in too far, too fast, and too hard all the time. We get pushed back, stepped over, stepped on still all the time. So this show really is about leaning on each other more.
Support.
Absolutely. Support, interconnection, so that we can leverage our collective power as multicultural women and move that forward, so that we're not just doing well as individuals, but we're doing better overall.
That's wonderful. Caroline, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing that with us, and good luck on that. Women of Power airs Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern right here on TV1. And you can watch it online each week on blackenterprise.com. Coming up, for better or worse, star Coco Brown joins us to talk about her latest role in the play you know well, the long-running play Beauty Shop. And later, actress Alexandra Shipp, who is adorable, stars in the new movie Aaliyah, the Princess of R&B, and she talks about her upcoming projects. You can hit me up on your thoughts on Twitter at News1 or at Mo Ivory on our News1 Facebook page. We have a lot coming up. It's a Friday, and we're going to have some fun and tell you everything that is going on this fantastic Friday afternoon. It is 43 after the hour.